these little things.
Don't hurt me, Arch. I'm only little.
Let's check it out. Alright, cool. We'll break the verse into two pieces, a bunch of chords, and it's easier to explain and learn if we break it up. So the intro there is an E. It's an E sus4 chord, and he's just coming down these G, D, and A strings. And then he comes in with a chord on top of that, which is an E chord. You could also do an E7 here. That also sounds really great. Or that version of an E7. So pick which one you like. They all sound great there. And that'll resolve us to the chord that is the root of the progression, which is an A major. So the intro chord is acting as a 5 chord, resolving to a 1 chord. And the progression is very simple. It's an A. You could play an A sus2, and that goes to an A major 7. And then we have a D, which I would recommend you play as a sus2, so leave your high E open, and then that goes to a D major 7. Then we have a simple E chord, which moves up to C sharp minor, and that moves down to F sharp minor, and we end the first part of the verse on our D sus2. So let's pick it up from that chord and go through the second half of the progression. Gets not tricky, but he throws in a cool, something cool here. So let's listen to that. Really nice. So there we have essentially the same progression. Start with an A or A sus2, whichever you prefer, to A major 7. Then we bring that to our D sus2, D major 7, down to E, up to C sharp minor, down to F sharp minor, and then here's where it changes. He throws in a B chord here. I'm going to play this as a B sus2. And then that goes to an E. Now that is what is called a secondary dominant, this B chord. It's the 5 chord of one of the chords in the progression. So B is the 5th of E in the scale of E major. The 5 chord is B. So you have a B chord which is borrowed from the key of E major, basically, resolving to E. I'll put a little something on the screen here that talks about secondary dominants, so I'll pause the video for that. So there's a little bit of info. Please research this a bit further. Really great stuff, and they're all over Nik's music. So that brings us to the E there, and then we go back up to the C sharp minor, back down to the F sharp minor, and then we end our verse on an A. So nothing out of the ordinary in terms of chords. All right, so let's see what happens in our chorus. I'm going to rewind this just a teeny bit, and we'll pick this up in the first chorus at 1 minute. I'm going to start the song back at 1 minute 10 seconds. Great. Really great. So we're in D now for the chorus. And it's a simple D, A sus2, D sus2, excuse me, A sus2, C sharp minor, back to D. That's the first part of the chorus. The second part goes to the 6th chord, the minor 6, B minor, to an A, and then we end our chorus on an E, which is cool because that's where we started the whole song, right? On an E, which takes us nicely back to the A to begin the second verse. So far, so good. So the second verse, exactly the same as the first.
Second verse, same as the first.
So let's scoot forward a bit and get to the solo. So let me see. This is an interesting song because the solo happens quite late, around 3 minutes or so. Very unusual. Let's hit this at around 3:02. All right, so we're going into the solo here. Real mellow solo, not a lot happening there. So the first thing to talk about for the solo, before we break down the lead, is it's always important to know what chords you're playing over, otherwise the solo makes no sense. And these are just the first half of the verse. The first half of the verse. So I'm going to play the solo one more time without the lead and just listen to the chords. Cool. So we know that we're at the end of our lead, we're going to end on a D. So that'll be useful for us to know because we know we start on an A and end on a D. And when you're playing leads, what you're playing over is crucial to everything. So the lead is real simple. We start off here on the A note. That's the first phrase. The 10th fret on the A string, or the B string, excuse me, 10th fret on the B string, which is the note A, down to the major 7, G sharp, back to A, to the 9th, which is B, down to the E on the G string, 9th fret. The next phrase, we move down a couple of frets, and we start with the D note here on the 7th fret of the G string. And we just go down a half step. It's very similar to the first phrase. Back up to the E, and then end on the A here. So all together so far. Our next phrase, we go back down to the G string on the D note, and then we're going to slide down, excuse me, to the C sharp. And then bring your finger back to the D and bring it up to the E. Back to the C sharp, and then up to that B there. That's a nice little lick. So then the fourth lick is going to be here on G sharp, and that's going to slide down to an F sharp and then back up to the G sharp and then end there on that E. Just like that. And then the last lick is an A down to a G sharp, back to an A, and then we end the solo on that F sharp. Now we know that we're ending, the last chord of the solo is a D, so we're ending the solo on F sharp, which is the third of D major. So that's a nice resolution. Not a really strong resolution because we carry into a vocal right away. And melodically, it's a nice resolution to the solo. So, real simple. I have the tabs on the screen there for you. So I hope that was enough of an explanation for that simple lead there. Now, coming out of the lead, he does some really cool stuff with the chords. So let's listen to some of this. I'll play along with it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Oh, so there's the lead. Let's scoot past that. All right. The very end of the lead. Oh, here we are, right here. All right, now here come the chords. Check this out. Watch this. Very sneaky. Very sneaky.
You fucking sneaky bastard.
So you could probably hear there's a chord, the chords change, and there's a kind of a key change in there. So out of that solo, remember the solo is the first part of the verse. We pick it up on the second part of the verse, which is E up to F sharp, down to F sharp minor, to that B. Now here's where it gets interesting. From that B we would normally go back to E major, but what we get here is a change to E minor. And then a C add 9 before we resolve to a D. So if we're going to the chorus next, the chorus starts in D. So obviously something has really changed here. So what he's done is he's actually shifted the key to E minor. You could also call it G, actually. I wouldn't have an objection either way. When he goes to that E minor and the G and D, those three chords all work in E minor, they all work in G major. The vocal on top of that E minor chord, I'm pretty sure is a G. So if you wanted to call that a quick key change to E minor or a quick change to G major without the actual root chord in there, either of those would be fine. And then we end the verse on a D, so what the heck is going to happen to our next chorus? Well, let's listen and find out. Man, Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
You fucking sneaky bastard.
So the chorus now started on an A and then goes to an F sharp minor. So those two chords are different from the usual chorus. A, F sharp minor, up to a C sharp minor, and then to a D. So the last two chords there are the same as usual. But then he has more tricks in store for us. The last half of the this altered chorus, let's call it, goes to the usual B minor, but then what he does is he plays a B minor over A. So to handle that, technically, just move your pinky down here and try to stay off that open E chord, E note, excuse me, and just play like that. So what he does is he hits it, and he starts to kind of bring it in like that with the downstrokes. So after that chord, we go to a G. Now, you could play a regular G here. That would be fine. He's doing a G add 2 chord. A G add 2 chord, and we want to leave out the high E here. And then that ends on E as the chorus usually does. So he's doing some really nice stuff here with the melody, changing it up to just give it a bit more power and you know, all that stuff. So it might be useful just to hear those chords again, and I'll play along with them. So let me find the end of the solo. Please bear with me here, and we'll fire that back up. Okay, so here's the end of the solo. Really hear how it really changes the dynamics and the emotion and everything in that chorus. Really awesome stuff, and totally characteristic of Nik and his little party tricks. Super, super awesome stuff. So then we're now very close to the end of the song. We're at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We're going to have one more chorus and then an outro, a little tiny outro bit. So let's just play through the last... well, actually, I don't think we need to play through all that. We just have another standard chorus out of that last part there to end the song. Usual stuff. All right. So let's scoot ahead a bit. Okay, so here's the ending of the song now. So the very end is just the A, this life is a good life part, to A major 7, and then you end on a D, sus2. That's it. Really, really awesome. So thank you very much, guys. If you have any questions or whatever, just hit me up. Have a good time.